2. Strong leaders. Two strong leaders, Napoleon Bonaparte and Adolf Hitler, changed Europe in big ways. They lived at different times, but both caused much trouble. Their stories show how times of chaos can help a person gain great power and lead a nation. Napoleon Bonaparte was born in a place called Corsica in 1769. His family was not very important or rich. But when he was 20 years old, the French Revolution began. France was in great disorder. The old government was gone, and the country was full of change. People could now become powerful based on their skills, not just their family name. Napoleon was a very smart soldier. He used this chance to rise quickly in the army, showing his talent for military plans during the revolution's chaos. Adolf Hitler's life started differently. He was born in 1889. As a young man, he wanted to be an artist, but he did not succeed. He fought in World War I. After this war, Germany faced many problems. The country was very poor, and its people were unhappy because of a peace agreement. Many Germans felt ashamed and angry. They looked for someone to blame for their problems and hoped for a new leader to make things better. This period of trouble and fear in Germany was perfect for Hitler. He was not a great soldier like Napoleon, but he was good at talking to many people. He used propaganda to make them believe his ideas. He promised to make Germany strong again. Just like the French Revolution created a chance for Napoleon, the hard times after World War I helped Hitler become a powerful leader. Both men appeared when their nations were in crisis, and both used these chaotic moments to take total control. 2. Getting power. Napoleon's journey to power started with his great military skill. He was very good at leading armies. He became a general at just 24 after a big victory at the Siege of Toulon. Later, his battles in Italy made him famous. He was smart in war and had a big plan for France. After the French Revolution, the government, called the Directory, was weak and unpopular. France had seen 10 years of chaos. Napoleon saw this as his chance. In November 1799, he led a swift takeover, a coup d'état, and changed the government. The French people were tired and wanted order, wealth, and national pride. Napoleon promised these things, and they welcomed him. In 1804, Napoleon made himself Emperor of France. He said he had found the crown, implying the people wanted him to wear it. Adolf Hitler found a very different path to power, using politics and strong words instead of military strength. Hitler was not a successful soldier like Napoleon. He was a failed artist. Germany after World War I was in a very bad state. The Treaty of Versailles had made Germany poor and ashamed. People were desperate for answers. Hitler was very skilled at speaking and making people believe his ideas. He used propaganda to spread his messages. He blamed certain groups for Germany's problems, making them scapegoats. His large public meetings were like theater, turning many people into one loud crowd that supported him. Hitler and his Nazi party used Germany's democratic system to gain power legally. Then they destroyed it. They won elections to get into government. A very important event was the Reichstag fire in 1933, which was a fire at the German Parliament building. Hitler used this fire as a reason to get special emergency powers. He said the country was in danger. Soon after, a new law called the Enabling Act was passed. This act allowed Hitler's government to make new laws without the parliament voting on them. In this way, Germany's democracy effectively ended itself. Hitler then turned Germany into a dictatorship from within its own system. 3. Making an empire. Both Napoleon and Hitler quickly built their empires after taking power. Napoleon Bonaparte started his wars in Europe between 1803 and 1815. In less than 10 years, France became the strongest country. His empire reached from Spain to near Moscow. This was very fast. Napoleon used new ideas for his army. He put foot soldiers, horse soldiers, and cannons into special groups called corps. These groups moved fast and changed plans easily. His armies could attack quickly and then spread out, like lightning. His grand army moved faster than any army before. He conquered Austria, Prussia, Spain, and other states. At its largest, Napoleon's empire ruled about 70 million people. French laws and culture spread, but millions died in his many wars. Adolf Hitler's conquests were even faster and more terrible. From 1939 to 1942, Nazi Germany took more land in 3 years than Napoleon did in 10. Hitler's reasons for war were different. Napoleon wanted political power. Hitler wanted to change Europe based on race. He aimed to remove certain groups of people, not just build an empire. Hitler also used new fighting methods called blitzkrieg, or lightning war. This combined tanks, airplanes, and fast soldiers. They broke enemy lines very quickly. This made older ways of fighting look slow. Hitler's army conquered many places fast. Poland fell in 27 days. France, a strong power, was defeated in 6 weeks. Other countries in Europe also fell quickly. By 1941, German forces were deep inside the Soviet Union. Unlike Napoleon's empire, which worked with some old political rules, Hitler's empire was based on hate for different races. He planned for Slavic people to be enslaved or killed, and Jewish people to be murdered. He wanted German people to replace others. At its strongest, Hitler's Europe ruled millions from the Atlantic to the Volga River. This empire, built on hate, led to the deaths of many millions of people, including 6 million Jewish people in the Holocaust. 4. Keeping control. Napoleon understood that winning battles was only one part of ruling. He knew that to keep his empire, he needed to control people's minds, laws, and daily life. His way of control mixed clever administration with strong power. One important tool was the Napoleonic Code, finished in 1804. These were clear laws for everyone. They made all people equal before the law, ended old feudal systems, and protected what people owned. This code was so good that it spread across Europe with French armies. It lasted long after Napoleon was gone, and some parts are still used in laws today, even in places like Japan and Louisiana. But Napoleon also used secret police. His minister, Joseph Fouché, built a large network of spies. These spies were everywhere, in restaurants, shops, and homes. They opened mail, listened to talks, and watched anyone against Napoleon. Newspapers that did not agree with him were shut down. Books were banned, and people who spoke out were sent away or put in prison. Napoleon also used propaganda, showing himself as a great, almost mythical leader in military reports, paintings, and on coins. Education became a way to make loyal citizens. Schools taught history and geography from France's point of view, focusing on the emperor's victories. The Catholic Church was also brought under his control, making priests support his rule. Hitler's control was much stronger and touched every part of life. He did not just stop people who were against him, he tried to control thoughts and relationships. Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's minister for propaganda, used new ways to spread Nazi ideas. Radio programs went into every German home. Films showed Nazi glory, and big public rallies made people feel strong and like one group. Children were also controlled through the Hitler Youth. Boys and girls as young as 14 had to join these groups. They went on trips, but they also learned to march and to believe Nazi ideas. They were taught to hate and to be ready to die for Hitler. By 1939, almost all German children had to be members. The Gestapo was Hitler's secret police, and they were very powerful. Germans were told to report their neighbors, friends, and even family members if they seemed disloyal. If someone was just thought to be against the Nazis, they could be arrested, hurt, or made to disappear. No one felt safe to speak freely. Hitler's control also had a darker purpose. Concentration camps started in 1933. At first, they held people who were against the government, but later they became places for terrible crimes. The Nuremberg laws of 1935 took away rights from Jewish people. A program called T4 also killed disabled Germans. These acts were steps towards the Holocaust. 5. Their worst acts. Napoleon's first truly bad act was bringing back slavery. The French Revolution had ended slavery in French colonies in 1794, but Napoleon restarted it in 1802, seeing economic gain. He sent over 30,000 soldiers to stop the independence movement in Haiti. Their leader, Toussaint Louverture, agreed to talk, but Napoleon broke his word. He captured Louverture and sent him to prison where he died. Napoleon spoke of liberty, but crushed it in other places. In Spain, Napoleon's armies fought against people who resisted French rule. When civilians fought back, Napoleon's soldiers were very cruel. Many people were killed without trial. Whole villages were burned, and suspected fighters were hanged. This brutal approach caused great suffering for ordinary people. Another act showed Napoleon's coldness. During the terrible retreat from Russia in 1812, many soldiers died from cold and hunger. Napoleon left his wounded men to die in the snow. He quickly went back to Paris to build a new army. He seemed to care little for the lives of his soldiers. Hitler's actions were far more evil. His cruelty was a planned part of his government. The Holocaust was a genocide systematically organized by the state. In 1942, Nazi leaders met at the Wannsee Conference. They calmly discussed how to murder millions, planning train schedules, gas chamber sizes, and body disposal. This was not just war. It was a factory for mass murder, carried out with great precision. Children were targeted too. At Auschwitz, a death camp, Dr. Josef Mengele did cruel medical experiments on twins. Over 250,000 Roma people were killed. Disabled people were also murdered in what was called euthanasia, with up to 275,000 killed because the Nazis said they were unworthy of life. Hitler's army had special groups called mobile death squads. They followed the army into Eastern Europe, shooting over 1 million innocent people in mass executions. Whole villages were destroyed as punishment. For example, in 1942, the men of Lidice were shot. Millions of Soviets were starved. Napoleon caused many soldiers to die in war, but Hitler built entire systems to murder civilians. His legacy is one of pure destruction and horror. 6. Any good things? Napoleon did some good things. He liked science and history. When he went to Egypt, he took smart people with him. They studied old cultures. His soldiers found old art. They learned about it and kept records. This helped people understand history better. Napoleon also changed many laws in Europe. His new legal system made everyone equal under the law. It removed old systems where family was more important. Jewish people, who often faced bad treatment, got new rights. In some places, Napoleon's armies even broke down the walls of Jewish ghettos. He believed in promoting people based on their skills, not their birth. For example, some German men got high military jobs because they were good at them, not because of their family. Napoleon's army had soldiers from many countries, like Italy, Germany, and Poland. They all fought together and were treated equally. But when we look at Adolf Hitler, the story is very different. Hitler's ideas were only about destruction. He did not care about science, art, or equal rights for all people. He wanted to divide humanity into different groups based on race. Hitler fought wars to destroy entire groups of people, not just to build an empire. He did not follow the rules of war. He ordered his soldiers to kill prisoners and starve millions of civilians. He had no good achievements or positive changes to offer. The biggest difference is clear. Napoleon wanted to rule the world and bring changes, some good, some bad. Hitler, however, wanted to burn the world down, leaving only death and suffering. His legacy is only evil and trauma. 7. A big mistake. Both Napoleon Bonaparte and Adolf Hitler made one very big mistake. They both decided to invade Russia. This mistake proved to be a disaster for both powerful leaders. Russia's large size, its cold winters, and its strong defense forces defeated them. In June of 1812, Napoleon led his grand army into Russia. It was the biggest army Europe had ever seen, with 600,000 soldiers. Napoleon thought the war would be quick. He planned to beat the Russian army fast and force their leader, the Tsar, to give up. But the Russian general, Kutuzov, had a different plan. He would not fight a direct battle. Instead, the Russians retreated. They burned their own farms and bridges. This meant Napoleon's army had no food or supplies. His soldiers marched deeper into Russia, chasing an enemy they could not catch. Horses died, soldiers left, and many got sick, all before winter arrived. When Napoleon reached Moscow in September, the city was empty and burning. The Russians had set fire to their own capital. Napoleon waited 5 weeks, but no surrender came. He had to order a retreat. The Russian winter then hit hard. Temperatures dropped very low. Soldiers froze and starved. Of the 600,000 men, fewer than 110,000 returned ready to fight. Napoleon left his men and went back to Paris. His power seemed broken. Many years later, in 1941, Hitler made the same mistake. German army leaders knew about Napoleon's failure, but they did not learn from it. Hitler started Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history. He sent nearly 4 million soldiers and thousands of tanks and planes. At first, his army moved very fast, taking much land. Leningrad was surrounded, and Moscow seemed close. Then Hitler made a very bad choice. Instead of going straight to Moscow, he divided his army. He wanted land in Ukraine and to capture Leningrad for propaganda. This gave the Soviet army time to get stronger. When German forces reached Moscow in December, Soviet soldiers pushed them back. The Battle of Stalingrad became a turning point. Hitler wanted to capture the city with Stalin's name because of his ego. The fighting was terrible in the streets. Hitler's Sixth Army was trapped and destroyed. The siege of Leningrad lasted for 872 days, and over 1 million people died, but the city never gave up. Unlike Napoleon's quick defeat, Hitler's disaster in Russia took 3 years to fully unfold. At Stalingrad alone, Germany lost 700,000 men. Both invasions showed that Russia's size, its harsh winter, and its determined people could defeat even the strongest armies. 8. Their story today. Napoleon's story today is not simple. He is remembered for both good things and bad things. For example, His famous Napoleonic Code created clear laws for everyone, making people equal before the law. It also ended old systems like feudalism. He wanted people to get jobs based on their talent, not their family name. But Napoleon also made slavery legal again in French colonies, which was a very bad act. His many wars caused millions of deaths and hurt Europe's economy for a long time. Even today, France often debates his memory. Some people want to celebrate his achievements and reforms, while others strongly remember his cruel actions and the lives lost. Hitler's legacy, however, is purely evil. There is no debate about it. After World War II, the Nuremberg trials took place. These trials showed that no one could just say, "I was following orders," when they committed terrible crimes against humanity. This led to new international laws on human rights. For example, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights came directly from the horrors of the Holocaust, helping to protect people all over the world today. Germany has tried to learn from its past mistakes. Schools make sure students learn about the Holocaust as a required subject. This helps to ensure such horrors never happen again. Many monuments, like the one in Berlin for the Holocaust, stand as powerful reminders of the dark past. While Napoleon left a complicated mix of good and bad things, Hitler left only death, destruction, and deep pain that lasted for generations. Napoleon created some positive changes, even with his dark side. Hitler only brought horror and suffering. What do you think is the most important lesson history teaches us about the dangers of unchecked power?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.